issue around fathers and fatherlessness is very interesting, both from a South African perspective and also from a continental perspective. And I think it's important to also take a quick journey back into the roots of where I think some of this is coming from. Again, it's important for us to realize that the fabric of the family is absolutely foundational in everything, and that in a country, in a people group, whenever the fabric of the family is dismantled, it comes with all sorts of consequences, from crime to ill discipline and all sorts of social ills that come with fatherlessness. So where is this really coming from? I think from a South African perspective, let's just take a look at a scenario. And this scenario is a typical apartheid scenario, which a lot of people have grown up under. It's a system that was based on rejection. And what it typically did is, for example, most Black African families in the apartheid system, the situation worked in terms of men needed to go out, leave their families to go and find work on the farms, on the mines, wherever they worked. But typically the system involved separating men from their families. That was the only way economically that most of the people could survive. The system went even further, where women would typically work again, maybe as maids in houses, and the system was such that those maids would not go and work with their children, would not be able to stay with their husbands. So you had a huge population of South Africans growing up as children with the father not being at home because he had to be working somewhere where the family was not allowed to be, the mother working somewhere where the child wasn't allowed to be, and therefore children who grew up largely with grandparents and with relatives. Now that has a huge impact on the identity of a child. It has a huge impact when a child doesn't understand what's happening in the system, and therefore that child thinks that it's being rejected by the mother, it's being rejected by the father, and therefore grows up in an environment where the nurturing love of parents has been completely removed. A nurturing love that typically will also teach discipline and also critical principles of how to live successfully as that child grows up. Entire generations of children in South Africa, who are typically now adults, never had that foundation when they were children, and therefore that is why we see some of the consequences of the social ills, the crime, etc., that we see in the nation. It's all coming back from that broken family foundation.